Hello class, we're now going to go over chapter 5, and chapter 5 is on the executive branch, which is the president. As we know, our current president, Donald Trump, is up for re-election, and that's what's happening right now. In some states, they've already started early voting. Texas starts early voting on October 13th. What do we know about the president? Not just Donald Trump, but what do we know about the presidency? What we know is that it is considered one of the most powerful positions in the world, and the president is considered one of the most powerful people in the world. He's elected, or she's elected, with the equal leadership of the people. We have three branches of government, right? We have judicial, we have legislature, and we have executive. Those three branches of government are supposed to hold each other accountable so that not one branch has more power than the other. Unfortunately, our system is not working the way it was set up to work. And the democracy in which we love and that we have found ourselves to be in for such a long time as a nation is unraveling at this point, because it does not appear as if our elected officials are doing their part to keep us safe. Okay, so the role of the president is considered the chief executive. They oversee the laws that are passed by Congress. So once, as we talked before, a bill becomes a law, once it is passed from the Senate and the House, it goes to the president for the president to sign, or he could choose not to sign it and he could veto it, which would be disturbing, but it has happened. What are the qualifications? The president has to be a natural born citizen, at least 35 years of age, and a resident of the United States for 14 years. So you hear questions that came up. You may not have paid any attention because maybe it wasn't that big of a deal to you. But there was a lot of issues around President Obama and whether or not he was born in America when he was born in Hawaii. I don't know why people thought Hawaii was such a foreign place, but a lot of people did, the current president included. That's where the term birther came from. This was the first time that an American citizen in such a position running for president was asked to prove he was actually born here. Now, some could say it was a legitimate concern. I'm not one of those that say that. I say it was because he was a black man running for president, the highest office in the land, and there were some that did not feel as though he should be running for president. So how could he be born in America? So, natural born citizen, that's how. The terms in office, he gets 2 terms. Initially, there was not a term limit on the presidency. Over time, that changed. In 1951, which wasn't that long ago, 1951, Congress passed a law that limited the president to 2 terms. The president can be removed. As you know, as I stated, there was an impeachment hearing that happened. And then once the impeachment happened, it goes to the trial, which was happening in the Senate. It wasn't really a trial because usually when you have a trial, witnesses are called to testify, and that didn't happen. But a president can be removed from office because, according to our Constitution, the president is not above the law. The president is not above the law. He can be removed for treason, bribery, or any other high crimes and misdemeanors. And so that is what was charged against the president under the impeachment from the House. The president has a great benefits package. He also gets free health care for the rest of his life. He gets travel expenses. He lives in the White House for free. The Camp David, where the retreat, where they go. Of course, he has his automobiles, Air Force One, the helicopters, all of those wonderful things. And no one is begrudging that. That happens to all presidents. So, here's what you need to know. In the event that something happens to the president, there is something that is called a line of succession. A line of succession. That means who's next in charge if something happens to the president. So, you have the president and you have the vice president. So that one's pretty clear, that if something happens to the president, then Vice President Pence would become president, right? We got that one. Who's next after that? What happens after Pence? The next person in line to become president is the Speaker of the House. Who is the current Speaker of the House? Nancy Pelosi. So if something was to happen to Trump, something was to happen to Mike Pence, then the next person in line is Speaker Pelosi. The Constitution has given us a line of succession. I don't know if you ever saw this TV show that came out that was called it was with Kiefer Sutherland. I can't remember the name of it right now. It'll come to me. But anyway, it was a great TV show, and I don't know why they canceled it. But after that, after Nancy Pelosi or after the Speaker of the House, there is a list of positions. I want you to make sure that you know either the position or the name of someone that falls within that line of succession. I've given you two, the Vice President and the Speaker of the House. But there is a slew of people, which is why it is important that when you vote for the president, you are clear as to the people that they will place in positions, because some of those people fall in this line of succession, such as the Secretary of State, such as Department of Education, such as Department of Housing and Human Services, such as Department of Defense, such as Department of Treasury. There is a list, the Secretary of Transportation. There is a list. The Attorney General also falls in the line of succession. So there is a list of titles. You should know at least the title and the name of at least 3 people that fall into the line of succession. At least 3 people's names and their title as to how they would fall into the line of succession, because that is something you need to know. So what are the duties of the president? The duties of the president, the founders did not want to give them a list of powers, so their powers aren't listed, and because they didn't want a strong president. What can the president do? As we know, he appoints positions, he nominates positions, and the Senate then votes on those nominations and appointments. He proposes budgets. He has the ability, he or she has the ability to restructure agencies if they don't feel like an agency is worth it anymore, such as what he's done with the Department of Justice, where he came in and dismantled the civil rights part of the Department of Justice. He dismantled the section that was handling police investigations and police shootings. So that's what they have the ability to do. Appointments. What's key here is that when the president nominates or appoints someone to a judgeship, 9 times out of 10, that judgeship is for a lifetime. So when it is critical right now that the woman that he is going to nominate for Supreme Court Justice to fill the seat of Ruth Bader Ginsburg that passed away a week ago, a woman who in her own right stood up for women's rights and equal rights for everyone, the person who he's nominating to replace her is like 40 years old. The Supreme Court is a lifetime position. She could be on there for 40 decades. For 4 decades. So she could be on there until she's 80, right? And what impact would that have on us as women, as people of color, as black people, as poor people, those that are gay, those that are transgender? Because she has some pretty hardcore beliefs on some things. She is one that did not believe in the support of the Brown versus Board of Education. So she would not be okay with us all being in class together and having equal access to opportunity. So the role of the president is critical, not just because of the presidency, but all of the things that the president gets to appoint and anoint and announce and nominate. All of those things become very, very important, and I need you to understand that, okay? So he gets to appoint 1,300 different type of positions. Those positions, as I stated, are approved by the Senate. Presidents can also just arbitrarily decide they don't want somebody working for them anymore, and they can remove them from office. That's happened during this presidency a lot. They have the ability to, if the budget comes through and there's something on there that they don't want, they have the ability to veto a particular line item out of the budget and make it be something else. So where we are right now is critical as it relates to the executive branch, because we are nearing an election of deciding whether or not we want to keep the one we have and continue on this path, or if we want to change and do something different and restore our place in the world, restore our place with one another. That is what the executive branch is all about. So it has a lot of power, has a lot of implied power. It has a lot of perceived power because of the position. A lot of things that came up during the impeachment was around, can the president do it just because he's president? And the answer is no. Just like today, we're talking about his tax returns or taxes, and that he hasn't paid any. Or $750 is what he paid in 2 years. 2 years in 2016 and 2017. The question becomes, is it legal for what he's done? And he did it before he was president, right? Can he be held accountable for that? Even if he is president, can he be held accountable? How would be the most ultimate way of holding him accountable for his actions? By showing up to vote if you're not happy with what he's doing. And not only him, but the people around him. So it's not just going to be important, if you have any feelings about Donald Trump, to just get rid of Donald Trump. You've also got to get rid of the people that have enabled the bad behavior. So the Senate that did not have a real trial when the evidence was right there before them at the impeachment. So those senators, is like 23 senators on the Republican side that are up for re-election in this term. Maybe they don't need to be there. I don't know. But if they are, in my opinion, they have been equally complicit in what we're seeing happen in America. So how he handles situations has an impact on all of us. And so it is important that we recognize that the role of the presidency is important, but those around him that he appoints to positions, that he nominates to positions, that he just puts in places is just as important. Knowing the line of succession, the people that fall in the chain as to who will come up next if something was to happen, that is what is important as well. So that is the executive branch. Thank you.